Most people wake up every day asking the same question. What do I want? How do I get it? And that's fine if you're aiming for average. But if you're aiming to be extraordinary, if you want to live a life that looks nothing like the 99% around you, then you can't just copy their thinking. Because here's the hard truth. Most people's thinking is broken. They move forward like they're driving a car with foggy windows, chasing goals they can't see clearly, crashing into obstacles they could have avoided. The people who rise to the top, the real 1%, do something different. They don't just think forwards, they think backwards. It's called inversion, and it's one of the most powerful mental models in history. It's so simple, so obvious, that most people dismiss it. But once you see how it works, you'll wonder why you never used it before. Story example. Let's rewind to 19th century Germany. There was a mathematician named Carl Gustav Jacobi. He was brilliant, but what made him legendary wasn't just solving problems. It was how he solved them. Jacobi had this phrase he repeated to his students: invert. Always invert. When he faced a complicated math problem, instead of trying to solve it head-on like everyone else, he'd flip it upside down. Instead of asking, how do I prove this is true? He'd ask, what if I tried to prove it false? Instead of asking, how do I reach the solution? He'd ask, how do I make sure I avoid the wrong path? And time after time, this backwards approach cracked problems that stumped everyone else. Now, maybe you're not sitting in a lecture hall in 1825 doing abstract math, but this same mindset inversion is exactly what can save you from the everyday mistakes that destroy careers, health, and relationships. Because here's the thing, most of life's biggest wins don't come from doing everything perfectly right. They come from avoiding the obvious wrong. 3. Concept explanation. So, what exactly is inversion? In simple terms, instead of asking, how do I succeed? You ask, how do I fail? And then you avoid those things. It sounds almost too simple, right? But think about it. Most people approach success like building a tower. What bricks do I need? How high should I go? But the whole structure collapses if the foundation is weak. Inversion says, forget about stacking bricks for a second. Ask, how could this tower collapse? Then reinforce against those points. Another way to see it. Imagine you're walking through a minefield. A forward thinker asks, what's the fastest way across? An inversion thinker asks, where are the mines and how do I not step on them? Which person has the better chance of making it out alive? Exactly. Inversion works because humans are notoriously bad at predicting what will make us happy or successful. But we're really good at identifying what will make us miserable or fail. You might not know exactly what habits will make you a billionaire, but you sure know that gambling your paycheck away, avoiding hard work, and ignoring your health won't get you there. You might not know the perfect formula for a dream relationship, but you can identify behaviors that will absolutely destroy 1. Lying, neglect, selfishness. By flipping the question, you cut through the noise. 4. Application in life. So, how do you apply inversion to your own life? Let's break it down into different areas. 1. Work career. Most people ask, how do I become successful in my career? That's vague, overwhelming, instead invert it. How do I make sure I don't destroy my career? Now you see things clearly. Don't burn bridges with colleagues. Don't show up later half prepared. Don't stop learning once you get the job. Don't chase quick money at the expense of long-term growth. If you simply avoid these career killers, you'll already rise above most people who self-sabotage. Cause 2. Health fitness. Instead of obsessing over the perfect diet or workout, ask, how do I make sure I don't wreck my health? The answers are obvious. Don't binge junk food daily. Don't stay glued to your phone until 3 a.m. Don't skip movement for weeks on end. Don't drown yourself in alcohol and energy drinks. By avoiding the big killers, you'll be far healthier than 99% of people obsessing over the latest supplement or fad routine. 3. Relationships. Instead of asking, how do I find the perfect partner? Invert it. What do I need to avoid to not ruin love when I find it? You'll quickly see, don't lie. Don't take them for granted. Don't expect perfection. Don't let ego replace communication. Love isn't built overnight, but it can be destroyed in seconds. Avoid those traps, and your chances of building something lasting multiply. 4. Mental performance. Most people chase productivity hacks. The inverted question is, what kills focus and motivation? And you already know the answers. Doom scrolling social media, multitasking on 10 tabs, surrounding yourself with negative, draining people, procrastinating until anxiety takes over. If you just avoid these traps, your brain becomes a high-performance machine by default. 5. Emotional motivation. Now here's the kicker. Most people are stuck in forward-thinking mode. They're chasing vague success, while stepping on every landmine in their path. And then they wonder why life feels unfair. But you now know the cheat code. Invert. Always invert. When you don't know how to win, learn how not to lose. When you don't know how to be happy, learn how to avoid misery. When you don't know the perfect answer, look for the wrong ones and cross them out. It's not about being a genius. It's about being practical, about removing the obvious errors that keep everyone else trapped. So let me ask you, what if you stopped asking, how do I get rich? And instead asked, how do I avoid being broke? What if you stopped asking, how do I find happiness? And instead asked, what habits guarantee unhappiness? What if you stopped asking, how do I build confidence? And instead asked, what destroys confidence? The moment you flip the question, clarity explodes. Suddenly, success isn't some distant mountain. It's just the natural result of avoiding the dumb mistakes everyone else makes. That's how you get ahead of 99% of people. Not by being the smartest, not by knowing all the answers, but by avoiding the obvious failures that ruin most lives. Remember Jacoby's words, invert, always invert. Because sometimes, the fastest way forward is to think backwards. Final takeaway. So next time you're stuck, overwhelmed, or confused about what to do, don't panic. Just ask yourself the inverted question. What would guarantee failure here? Then don't do those things. Do this in your career, your health, your relationships, your mindset, and you'll quietly, steadily rise above the 99%. Not because you sprinted ahead, but because you stopped tripping over the traps everyone else falls into. That's the power of inversion. That's how you think backwards, to move forward.